Okay.
Hello, Vincent. How are you? We got Todd. We got Lanny. I will. Am I mute? Oh. There you go.
Oh, great. I get back and Pamela leaves.
Make her a co-host, would you?
Yep.
James. Goofy
Yes,
goof.
I am.
Okay. No. There's Marianne. No. I'm too sick. I can't fight. I can't fight back. Look, I got everything ready for my trip. I'm already starting my packing.
Now, what trip? Oh, for what trip?
I'm taking off in my UFO. No, here's my stuff.
Who's got background?
James, that's you. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Marianne, boink.
Okay, we're going to get started here in just a minute. And we've got a special guest today. I almost feel like I'm announcing the radio show, but we do. Look at this. All right. Tommy, are you there? We got, uh-oh, where'd they go? Okay. Let's spotlight you guys. Can you talk?
Yep, can you hear us?
We can. We can.
All right, cool.
You guys look awesome.
What do you say, everybody? This is pretty cool. All right, well, welcome. This is going to be an interesting little Zoom training, but I thought it might help you.
Adrian, we lost you, camera-wise.
Hold on, coming back.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, hang on. There we go.
But at the end of the day, the reason I wanted to talk to you was...
Still no camera, Adrian.
Working on it, sorry.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Okay. Go ahead. What were you saying, Tom?
So the whole training today, we just did my radio show, and I wanted to talk to you guys about what's going on as far as contact mapping goes, because there's a couple of things that you don't do. Number one, most of us don't reach up. We just reach. You know, we're constantly trying to find people that will talk to us without it being a stretch. You're up. It's working. So at the end of the day, this isn't a stretch, everybody. This is finding people. They are people, everybody's as scared as you are. And everybody, when you stand in an elevator, and Denise and Marianne and everybody will tell you that one of my favorite things to do, are we frozen? Yeah. I'm trying to obviously play with technology here, and it's working.
You're not frozen. You're good.
Okay, we're good. Okay, so the name of the game is yesterday, I don't know if it was Jill or Peggy on my interview with the guy that I asked Eric Worre, who is a friend of mine, who I have a relationship with, but you guys all have relationships with big people. And right now there's only 20 people on here, so now we're going to take 2 minutes and you're going to post on Facebook that you're on this call, and you're going to text your friends. So take 2 minutes right now and tell your friends to get on this call. We do it every week. It is crazy that they can't remember to do it, but try to remember somebody in your organization that was here last week and tell them to get on this call. Otherwise, we're just training us 20 people, and we can train a whole lot more than that, especially today with this show, because and I know I look like a hockey stick with hair, don't I, Peggy? It's unbelievable. So text some people, text Hanny, text your leaders, tell people to get on here. And I can tell when you're not texting because you're looking at the screen, Vincent. Look at your phone and text some people and tell them to get on here. I am telling you, this is not a show. The name of the game is this is a business that you don't get to do by yourself. You do this business with other people. I just texted Denise. See she's here. Hello, Denise. Look at her giving me the dirty look. How are you, Curly Joe?
There was no text.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry, I lied.
Let me look. Nope, no text.
And put maybe.
Hey, how are you?
So
Hi, Mark.
Hi, how are you?
Great to see you. Can't wait to give you a hug.
Same here. Today's going to be a great day.
Ooh, yeah.
We're bringing the energy.
Yes, very good. Hey, honey, you should wipe off your camera or something.
Honey, you should wipe off your camera.
Why is it fuzzy?
It's fuzzy. It might be the light from the windows behind you.
It's bouncing off my head, probably.
Oh, that's
There
better.
you go.
That's better.
Much better.
I still think that it probably needs a little spit and a rub. Just
That sounded
A
great.
little spit time.
after I said it, I didn't.
You know, I had that wig thing in the box that you talked about. You were, with the when you were down under.
Right.
Yeah, that, I bought that today also.
Oh, boy.
There we go.
So anyway, a couple of days ago, somebody commented, Jill did, about how am I finding all these connections? And the reason I have no problem finding connections is because I forgot to read the book, Don't Call That Guy. And you read the book called Don't Call That Guy. And you read the book called Oh, He's Busy. And Adrian is finally now able to understand. The minute we mention a name, I hit send. Because there is no distance for Tom Chenault between the thought and hitting the send button. If I think about you, I'm going to call you. Because I believe that, and I kind of believe this. I wish I was as spiritual as I try to tell you I am. But what I try to believe is that what I try to do is say, God inspired me to think about you. I must be supposed to call you, is how that boils down. And, the camera is right in front of me. I keep looking up at the TV and I can't figure out why.
It's not even that one. That's gone. Something's weird with the firmware. So it's just this thing. It's what we're on.
It's just this one. Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, so we're good with it. So we're going to actually have another surprise guest here in a minute, I think, that's going to also blow your mind. Because I want you guys to understand what contact mapping means. I want you to understand what the coffee shop interview means. I want you to understand about being comfortable in your own skin. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Every day, almost every day, do you do it every day?
Every day.
Every day. For years, I have gotten a post on my Facebook notification that says some really, really great quote. And it's always awesome. And so, it was from this guy named Marc Cohen, who lives in Arizona. He was my Facebook friend, and he tagged me and all these unbelievable people. And then when you read through the comments, they're all commenting on the post. They're commenting on how much they love Marc, the whole shot. And then I started doing some research on Marc, and I couldn't find the network marketing company Marc was in. I couldn't figure out what he was doing. And it turns out he's not a network marketer. He loves the space. He was around in Herbalife when Mark Hughes was there. He was a huge shareholder in that company. He was a big executive in the dating in Jordache Jeans and did all kinds of stuff. He opened up international markets all over the place. And he was also on the dating game in 1979, which is before you were born, Tamara. So that's all the things that this guy has been in his life. So I called him on, somehow we talked on the phone a couple of times, and I fell in love with him because of his ability to connect with people. And so I said, God, you've got to come out here. No, you've got to come on my show. So Adrian and I three-way called him. We set an appointment to three-way call him and to talk about coming on the show. And I fell even more in love with him because he understood the big picture that the coffee shop interview in contact mapping is 10 times bigger than multi-level marketing. The 2 interviews a day and the 1 three-way call is bigger than multi-level marketing. If you talk to Peggy Gleason, or if you talk to Claire, or if you talk to Ali, or if you talk to, let's see who else has graduated here. Click the button so I can see that. If you talk to Barbara Stallings or Sharon, if you talk to these people that have graduated, or if you're like Tamara Wilson, who's now in her 75th day of continually interviewing people, but she still isn't to the 66th day yet, which is very interesting math. You will understand that you guys are all learning to do this, and it's changed your life. And it didn't just change your life in network marketing. It changed your life in every part of your life. He's indicative of that. What about relationships? I mean, that's all it is.
All it is. That's all we have. You know, more than anything else is I was very, very blessed with my dad. He taught me. He taught me you have to look in somebody's eyes. You have to shake their hands. You have to then go in and ask them, how are they? What are they doing? How's your family? Take interest in somebody else. That wonderful thing that my dad shared with me was just one element of what he had. The next element he had is he took the information from that person and he wrote down, oh, I met Joe at Starbucks at a certain date at a time, and the information that we went ahead was, oh, well, Joe's married, you know, all the little details he wrote on the back of a card. So I grew up that every person I meet, through my mom and through my dad and how I was raised in Philadelphia, I said everybody is just as equal as somebody else. If you have a heart and you have a soul, you can be just with anybody. And what I have done is I have now taken my legacy and shared it with my wife, shared it with my kids, shared it with my grandparents, shared it with everybody in the world today, and my grandkids. But the most important part is I run every business that I have the same way. You know, I'm a visionary. I see the vision of what it is.
A lot of people bring pictures on their phone of their families. Very rarely does somebody bring an 8x12. So that is very cute. Isn't that the most adorable thing? But that's just how much this guy loves his family.
Yeah.
My gosh. And go ahead.
You know, one of the things that I have found is life experiences, and we're all in this world today. Everybody has a life experience of what they've been through. And at 60 years old, I realized that I took the experience of my grandparents and my parents and shared it with everybody today. And I'm just continuing the legacy. But one thing that I've learned most important is that you got to hear other people. You got to be accepted to what they have. You got to care for other people, because you know what? No one will do anything. But the next thing, most important thing is how do you follow up? What are you there for? What are you spending your time for?
Follow up? No, not follow up. No, follow up?
Well, let me tell you, you just wasted your time talking to them. And you wasted their time. And every time I follow up immediately when I leave a particular office, a particular appointment. I text them back, whatever it is. Grateful to see you. I'm so glad you're doing well. Nothing to do with their company. Just strictly caring for that person. Be that kind-hearted soul to them. And you will see that your band of influence will then move on forward and be a global impact in the world today. That's all I do. So I've been really super blessed by my grandparents, by my parents, And now I'm, passing that torch on to my kids and my grandkids. If I leave this earth today, I know I did the right thing. So that's what I'm here for. So Tom's there, wants me to come up and help him and do this. And,
Here's what happened on the phone. I fell in love with him, because I knew he was exactly what you guys needed to hear, because he's non-agenda interviewing. So how many times did we ever talked on the phone prior to the conversation with Adrian?
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
In 3 or 4 years.
And I said, can I ask you a question? He said yes.
You have to stop, because
Stop.
there was something I got to tell you. And Denise will see this. I had an appointment the day before with him at 10 o'clock Arizona time. I have a ritual. I go on the treadmill every single day. I have to, because I don't want to die.
He just showed me a picture of the
I
treadmill.
don't want to die, okay? Every day. Like Tom goes to his meetings, I go to my...
I forgot about this.
Okay,
This is
this is the best, okay? This is where the power comes in. Denise will fall right off the chair right now, okay? So I go and have to do my research. Every one of you have to do research before, prepare what it's going to be like. And I'm going to tell you what I do. I left this morning. Hold on, I'm diverting here a little bit. I left this morning. Denise, you'll like this. The whole team will like this. I visualize what the day will be like when I wake up and I'm blessed. When I leave my house, everybody has a key somewhere to something when they leave wherever they're going. I visualize walking back into my house after the day is over, returning. If you visualize that, you're going to have success. I just gave you my magic bullet, okay, that I don't give to too many people. I give it to, high-ranking business leaders in the world, okay? But that's the most important thing. You got to visualize. So anyway, 10 o'clock in the morning, I had this call lined up. I said, okay, I got to get prepared and everything. So he was on a call last week.
my show, not a
With
call.
the show,
My
show, that's right, on the show, okay? And I go and I see this thing, and I'm now wanting to know, because I have this call with Tom and Adrian, and I want to know everything about it. Okay, what the call is like. 5 at 10, I'm now getting ready for the call. Oh, and Marc Cohen's going to be here next week for the call. He didn't tell me I was going to be on the call.
I hadn't even.
Literally. I said, now, I get on the phone. I said, Tom, you didn't tell me I'm going to be on the call next week. Go ahead.
And so, so then so I said, well, I forgot, I was going to kind of ask you later, but I didn't realize you already
Denise, do you believe this?
I had already visualized the yes, but in the middle of the call, I realized I was going to love him because I knew he was going to contribute to you guys. So I said, can I ask you a question? And they always say yes. I said, it's going to be an unreasonable request. Can you live with that? He said, yes. I said, not only do I want you to be on the show next week, I want you to fly to Longmont to be on the show live. Then you could be on this Zoom with you guys. Then you can go to the presentation school with us tonight. And then we'll go out to dinner. Then tomorrow morning you can go to the AA meeting with me. Then we'll go to Red Frog Coffee. Doesn't that sound great? And you know what he said? Because people hate to say no. He said yes.
Or be there. Take action. If you don't
1,000
take action, we won't be here.
Probably a $10,000 an hour guy right here. Absolutely no reason on the world to say yes. But at the end of the day, it is so hard to say no. He jumped on the airplane and here he is. Is that crazy? And the rest is history. So now we're falling in love. Not a big network marketer. Not, doesn't build a business, anything like that. Completely connected in the world. Like at a level you can't believe. Marc, I love you.
I love you too.
You love me.
Absolutely.
And you know I'm going to be successful one of these days, don't you?
Absolutely. And we're going to help you.
I know that. And here's my request. I know you don't do network marketing. I know that you don't build businesses. I know you're a consultant. I know you're a $3,000 an hour guy. But I know you live down there in Arizona. And I know that you know people. And people are coming to borrow money from you. People are telling you their story of woe. And you cannot always say, well, that's tough. I don't know what to do for you. What I want you to say from now on is, I know a guy in Colorado.
His name is Tom Chenault, and I think he could help you out. Would you mind saying that?
Absolutely.
Could I get 5 names from you to try it out?
Absolutely.
Boom. Boom. Develop the relationship, set the hook, and rip their teeth out. No, I'm kidding.
All we want is 1 out of the 5. All we want is 1 out of the 5.
Yeah.
That's all we want is 1 out of the 5.
Yeah. And look at his page. Here, did you see what Denise just wrote?
No.
Mark's intro on his Facebook page. Dream big, inspiring, visionary influencer, world peace, mankind. Those are the kind of people, influencers that you want to get. Does that make sense? Is this kind of like good?
So I got to tell you a story, Tom. You got to remember, I was on LinkedIn in about 2012. I reached out to LinkedIn and a couple of my friends, and I said, you know what, give me a recommendation. And one of the things that basically that came back is when you look in the mirror, what do people see? What do people actually talk about you about? When they came back and I said, oh, you know, I'm an energetic guy. I'm the poster thing. You want to sell somebody, you call Marc Cohen. Want to change the world? But I only went to 5 or 6 people. They all said the same thing. You want to represent yourself of what people think about you. That's the most important thing. What are you putting out there? Denise just said this. Well, I got to, you know, that's all the things that I live by. And it's not about me. It's about what you can do for somebody else. So, you know, look, Tom, every day is a new day.
Interested, not interesting, like Peggy Gleason is. Live in their agenda instead of yours. It all comes back. That's the beautiful thing about it. That is why you win. So, trying to, you know, I really need, you know, this contact mapping is going crazy, but I really want to try to figure out how to get it into Lyft. And I was trying to think if I knew anybody at Lyft. And I'm just going, God, do I know anyone at Lyft? Do you know anybody at Lyft?
Yes.
Who?
The CFO.
You see, you mentioned that earlier. I set you up. But the point is every time you turn around, every one of you know somebody who knows somebody awesome. At least one person.
Sure.
Every one of you knows somebody who knows somebody awesome, because all those people know you, but they also know more people than you. And we look past and through and around and under. I want you guys reaching up so bad I can taste it. What were you going to say?
So one of the things is very true, most recently. So I have, during our meetings and so forth, you know, years ago, is the Microsoft Alumni Foundation. Somebody referred me to somebody. Then that person basically referred me to somebody. It's all that referral. So now when he says, oh, can I have the CFO of Lyft? It's 2 phone calls. It's the phone call that's on the board of directors of the Microsoft Alumni Foundation that is in business with the CFO of Lyft. So it's not who the person you're talking to. It's really the person that they know. That's the most important thing from this. It's who they know. Because that person might not know the person you need to know, but you don't know until you ask them.
And if any one of you ever ask me for something, if any of you ever ask me for anything, chances are it's going to involve a human being, and I am going to make that connection for you because I love you. It's that simple. Whether it's a hotel room, whether it's a car, whatever, I'm thinking about, you know, all the people that I'm constantly trying to help out. And that's all we have ever been and very successful at, is we epitomize, I know a guy. And that's all you guys want to be, is that connected person. Your network is all you need if you learn how to work that network and work it outward. Right, Adrian?
Yeah, completely right. And it's when you get to be that person, it feels so good, right? How great is it to be the person that is that they go, I know that you're the person that can make this happen, and I really need your help. That's a great place to be. That's a great person to be. That's a great place to be able to serve from. And then turning it on the other side, and you were talking about this a little bit on the show, Mark, learning how to ask for things and learning how to do it in a way that is honoring to the other person, that honors everything about that transaction all the way through. That's a lost art, right?
Absolutely.
We're resourceful in other ways, but we're not resourceful through people and through our network.
Absolutely. And I also found, you can go to my Facebook page, and Michael Phelps, I was at the right place at the right time. He just came back from the last Olympics. My son Grayson was going to his last year at ASU, and he was in the coffee shop, but he already knew me. But I was there, cheering him on the whole time, posting all types of stuff on my Facebook because he's a friend of mine. I met him eight years before. So I'm there at the right time. Oscar de la Hoya, you see a picture of him with me. Yeah, I did all his blank T-shirts. I was in the blank T-shirt business. I sold my business to the Chinese government in '85. And then I started to get involved with blank T-shirts, and I started a huge business because I was the conduit from China to the Fruit of the Loom and Hanes distributors, with blank T-shirts being 20% cheaper than Hanes and Fruit of the Loom with the same quality product. You have to visualize and create opportunities, within your organization. And, a lot of times in this organization or in any type of business, it's really the upline. The upline is just like, you got to go to the president. You have to go to the CEO. You have to go to the upper part, because they'll know how to navigate you to the next level. And if they don't, then that's not for you. But Tom and Denise do that every day. So I see that. I see the value. I'm just sitting back. I'm not at 30,000 feet or 60,000 feet. I'm up in orbit. I've been seeing the whole industry, and what I could do to help. So, I'm just passionate about what Tom gives back, because we have collided into something to build a great relationship together.
And he's got and how long have you been doing this? All your life? Stays don't move.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you go, well, he looks like a movie star. There's no reason in the world. If I look like him, there's no way on earth. Well, here's how he looked a few years ago.
2001.
How much did you weigh?
400 pounds.
400 lbs's. 400 lbs's. That's a lot of lbs's, wouldn't you say? So how on earth could he possibly have the connections? Because he didn't see himself as 400 lbs's. And he was having some problems because he went to the doctors, and the doctors had him on a couple prescription medications. Those are all different. Last year?
No. Since 2003, that's OxyContin. Each one represents a month supply. In my medicine cabinet, I kept all the empty bottles, and I have not taken an opiate since 2003. But the meaning of this whole thing is, that's what I did. The most important thing is you want to live, and you want to help people. And, there's messages that go on. The messages are, how can you make a difference today? Okay. Tom didn't know. I'm not out there broadcasting this. Okay. Everybody has issues. Everybody has issues.
I have issues.
But I want to help people. So now I go in and I have a bucket list, and we go involved living longer with obesity and Alzheimer's, and the opiate thing is horrendous. Okay.
It's his life.
And that's what I do now, is I try to make a difference, but we all need to be educated.
Denise is crying. Yeah, true story. Denise, go get a Kleenex. So funny.
Denise, I don't go out there and publicize this. You can go on my Facebook. I never even brought it up. It's being launched.
I know. That's why I had no idea.
It's being launched here.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, that's what his life's all about. So I want to, before we come back to Denise, and I don't want you to. You want to talk for a second, Denise?
No, I'm not sobbing. I'm so thankful, because I know that the story could have ended up differently.
Absolutely. Yeah. My brother passed after my mom passed in 2008, and he died because he had an enabler and he had issues, and he couldn't get off that. He was on that. But again, look, it impacts us. I very, very early on, Denise, I always like to help people. I've been blessed with, you know, parents that always tried to help the other person. And I want to continue that on with my legacy with my kids and grandkids.
So we're not going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the weight loss or anything like that. We're going to talk about connection. So I want to tell you guys another story about being completely yourself. So I'm sitting in Red Frog Coffee, and Duke Rumley is sitting across the table from me. And he is a guy that, again, in the opiate world, and we have to hook him up. I'll have him at the AA meeting tomorrow morning with you. He's a dear friend. He's been sober about 25 years, and he was a stockbroker, and he has given his life, switched out of all that, and all he does is work in recovery now. But I'm talking to him about contact mapping, and I am like driven with it. And I'm having this conversation right there, and I must be talking tom tone too loud, and I'm talking loud, and this guy is on the couch right across from me, and he goes, "That's the biggest bunch of horse manure I've ever heard in my life." And I go, "What is?" He goes, "What you're talking about. I got this flip phone, and I don't keep all of my data. I got my friends in this thing, and I don't call anybody. Nobody calls me, and you're full of bull, young man." And I go, "Well, that's good, sir. Go have some hay." So then he leaves. Get me off that big screen, Adrian. So then this other guy sitting on the couch looks up and goes, "You know, I don't think that's a bad idea." And I go, "You don't?" And he goes, "No, I think it's a good idea." And I go, "Why?" And then he goes into all this diatribe that I don't even understand. And I go, "What on earth is that all about? How are you so smart?" And he goes, "Well, I just understand this stuff. I work at a company." I go, "Where do you live?" He goes, "I live in Longmont." I go, "Who are you?" He goes, "My name's Rick." I go, "Tell me about your life." "I got this beautiful wife and a beautiful daughter. We live in Longmont because we can live anywhere in the world." And what I didn't know then was he knew that this big pipe was coming for the internet, and he wanted to live here. So he's sitting on the couch with his computer doing all his work. I go, "Well, who are you?" He goes, "Well, I lived in someplace like Vermont or something." "Did you live in Vermont?"
I lived in Boston.
Lived in Boston?
Upstate New York in Boston.
Yeah, upstate New York in Boston.
M in MIT.
So is the guy. I go, "Where'd you go to school?" He goes, "MIT." I go, "What?" I go, "Did you graduate from there?" He goes, "Is that where you went to college?" He goes, "Yeah, I got my undergraduate there." I go, "Well, did you get an advanced degree?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm a scientist." I go, "How old are you? Because you look like you're 12. He said, "I'm 36. I go, "What do you have?" He goes, "I've got a PhD from MIT. I want you guys to meet Rick Manelius, who is in love with contact mapping too." Look how tall he is. He's as red as a beet. And he loves the decathlon. And he loves his daughter. And whenever he comes down, when he comes out to the lake,
I'll get in there.
when he comes out to the lake, all he does is run and skip and chase butterflies with his daughter, and the guy has a PhD in IT. Rick,
How's it going?
not bad.
So,
What do you want?
how do I go
want the
from
big
there?
screen?
Oh, we lost your
Lost
video.
your video, Adrian.
I can probably repeat it backwards. No.
Okay, we'll get it back in a second. It's changing all over the place. But Rick,
Yeah.
how important? And Rick understands all the science of contact mapping, and you're in love with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to give me a longer answer.
Well, I'm going as soon as we get there.
You're up.
I'm waiting for Adrian to get this.
You're there.
Yeah. I'm a trained engineer, but what really, so not only from a technology perspective, because I've been trying to figure out the personal CRM thing for a while. For a long period of time, I had this friend who's in archaeology who also did web development, and the idea was there's so much data being produced right now. I mean, the number of hours of YouTube video that's going up every second. There's more data than humanity could ever even record. You can't consume it. And how do you, when you have a Facebook, a Twitter, a LinkedIn, your SMS, all these conversations, and how do you keep track of that all, especially, and how do you not let people slip through the cracks? And I started doing journaling. I started trying to capture it in other places. It was too hard, it was too difficult, and it was so frustrating. So it was one of those unsolved problems for me. And our identities are actually tied into these different platforms. We have a Twitter identity, a LinkedIn, a Facebook, and we're different. All of our information's in so many places. So if I had one place where I could store information and know, when I last talked to someone and what we talked about and had those details, kind of like an ancestor.com, but in real life right now, that was huge for me. That was kind of like the aha moment. And I not only was trying to solve this from a personal problem because I had to keep up with the hundreds of people I knew in college and all the coworkers and friends, but I had this mom who did contact mapping without calling it contact mapping. She was a secretary of a K through 12 school. She actually had to be. She's the one that screened and onboarded every parent of every child that went through for 30 years. And she was also a part of the census in the county of 50,000 people, and she worked at the county fairs and everything. I joked that she literally knew everyone in the county, all 50,000 people, and that was not even a joke. Like, she could literally, oh yeah, that was someone in Yerkowitz, and they married this person 20 years ago, da da da, and this is the family, this is where they moved. And the amount of information she knew about a person was astounding. But the fact that she would always remember people, and like at that time she'd write a card and she'd give a gift, and here's a pint of strawberries for that one moment. I mean, everybody knew Jody. And she was, on the totem pole, she was the secretary. But she ran that freaking school. Like, she literally ran that school. The person that was the lowest on the totem had the most influence. And that stuck with me because I was Johnny's son. I literally had, like, everyone knew me, but like it was almost like this invincibility I had in the school because I was linked to Jody, who influenced everything. And so that was a very powerful experience that I didn't even consciously realize until I left it. And so that's what, when I saw Tom and he talked about contact mapping, it was not just the problem of solving all of the, how do I keep up with everybody? It was the, oh yes, that's what my mom did. And that's how she became so influential and so powerful without even trying to become influential and powerful. So, yeah.
Read them and weep. That's what this is all about. That is him. That is him. That is you. That's what's so cool. And poor Adrian's going to have a nervous breakdown on this camera any second. So don't be surprised if he just heaves that computer through the window. This is not the walls. So this
it went out as I did the motion.
Stop moving, Adrian.
Yeah. But has anybody got questions or anything? I mean, if you need to understand it, this is how this works. And it isn't, it's 100% following.
Internet?
It's just one of these plugs doesn't work. So we're sorry about that.
I have a question. This is Esther. I have a question.
Hi, Esther.
Yeah, I'm wondering, where do you go to find the previous notes? Because I know I put notes in when I talk to them, but I don't know where to go back in time and look.
So if you go into any contact, you've got the list of every note on that contact listed there. Or if you go in the app on the notes and contacts, which is the middle bottom button on that phone, every time you do that, you're going to see the list of every note you've ever created across every person.
Yeah, so we'll be happy to do, we do Barbara Stallings, it's in Android. That's what I've got. So stop waiting. Knock some walls down. I use an Android phone myself. Contact mapping in the App Store. So unless you have a rotary dial phone, it's going to work. So, poor Adrian, this is hilarious.
This is the worst day of my life.
I should be good at recording this.
This is, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no question. Yeah.
If we need an EKG on me, that would be some entertainment.
We are so
My blood pressure is.
But here's another tip, though, for people that like the search function. Write generic notes, it's going to be harder to sift through the search functionality. But if there's something memorable, a word that's going to be unique to that moment, that's going to be an easy way to search and recall that. So really think of something unique or some word or phrase that really helps anchor in that memory or that specific incident. You're going to be able to pull it up easier. It's also going to train your brain to start looking for those unique moments and not make everything a generic note and a generic experience.
So I also will tell you, utilizing some of the contact mapping, and I also said, with your notes.
We can't see Mark.
Pardon me?
We can't see Mark.
Yeah, everybody has dictation on their phone. So to make notes, sometimes people can't write the same way they can talk. So I always now, because you don't have to worry about spelling or anything, just dictate the conversation, the date, anything there. It makes it a lot easier. And that's really the way that I do it with everything I do now. Because I have, my wife, Sarah, what are you sending out this stuff for? You're not spell check. You're not doing this. I'm very compulsive. I have to get it out, So now I have the dictation more than anything else.
So Denise's sister was on this TV show called The Dating Game of some other, like recently. What was that show called, Denise? Like The Perfect Match, or what was that show Amy was on? Do you remember?
She was not on a show.
Were you on the show? Who dated the guy?
Well, I dated the guy that was on the show.
Oh no! What was the show?
I can't remember. It was like one of the first dating reality shows.
And you dated him.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to have.
Was that with Chuck Woolery? Love Connection?
No, it was after that. It was a little. That was like, what was that? Like 1970s?
Yeah.
You guys, here's the point. I should have contact mapped that and put in Denise's app. And then 5 years later, I'm talking to Mark.
Yeah.
And I say, Mark, my wife was on whatever show it was.
I wasn't on there.
Somebody's going to talk about this again. And I'm going to say, I know somebody that was on the dating game in 1979. His name is Marc Cohen, and immediate relatedness, and everybody loves me.
There you go.
It's almost,
that's a bit of a stretch, but that's good. You're making the connection.
You're going to get along great with Sarah, my wife, Denise. I'll tell you. You're running my place.
It's special women to be married to guys like you.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I'm so excited. Marc Cohen the Great's coming here. Sarah said, oh, stay there, Mark. Okay?
You can have it. But if you think this, look at behind me. I mean, these are all the notes that Rick and Adrian, I didn't even know what these guys do is they call it riffing. Is that what you call it, riffing?
I do, yeah, brainstorming, riffing, yep.
Yeah, so they just sit around and do all this riffing. And I come in the door and the walls are covered with riffing. And I'm going, what does this even mean? But I'm so far behind and such a dinosaur. It's unbelievable. In fact, I was interviewing some guys the other day on the young people's panel at the ANMP. And so I was interviewing them before, and I said to this one kid about 25, I said, well, I'll just hook up with you on Facebook, because I was trying to be cool. And he goes, oh yeah, old school, man. So I have no idea what new school is, but apparently Facebook to the kids is all old school now, which is okay with me because I'm glad those kids are gone. I like us old people on there. But, what I'm trying to tell you is what we're doing intuitively on 65 and a Wake Up is changing the world. And you guys are doing incredibly important work because you're basically our focus group. And we're learning so much from you. You can see the new video that Adrian put out yesterday with all the new instructions with the help of Marianne and Pamela, because we know I'm a train wreck. But we also know that the actual concept itself is good. And all we have to do is fix that by digitizing it and explaining it right so all of you can do it. And we're going to change the world. We're changing the world, not just network marketing. We're changing the world. It is important work that you're doing, and thank you. So I have no idea on that, Barbara. You got to check. We don't want to make this a customer service call on contact mapping. Adrian will show you how to do that if it's possible. So we have no idea. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's just like everything else around longevity. I don't know. So and that's okay with me. Call Marianne. Call Adrian. But stay the course. Watch that new video. Get your people to watch that new video and learn the follow-up. And Jill, was it you that asked me about how I got to that big guy in England? Nod yes or no. Was that you that texted me, how did I get to that guy? I asked Eric Worre who the #1 network marketer, who the #1 guy in social media on all of the internet is, and he said Fraser Brooks. So I just went to Fraser Brooks and I wrote him out and said, Eric Worre says, you are great and we need to know each other. And that was after I sent like 4 of them in a row that he goes, who the hell's that guy, Tom Chanel? The minute I threw Eric Worre in there for his credibility and his influence, boom, this guy's chasing me down. He put me in it for free and the rest is history. Why? Because it was contact mapping, not just doing the old Devin Suggs, throw it against the wall and hit it. Oh, look at Devin's muscles. Look at that smile. Except that, yeah, that's perfect. Isn't that cute? It works. This works. God, this works. This is living proof. This works. It's crazy. Anybody got any questions? All right. No, swear to God. What time is it? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take him out to the lake house. I'm going to take him to the airport. I'm going to show him all the stuff. And he's going to get to go to the AA meeting with me. He's going to get to go to Red Frog Coffee. He might get to go to Two Dog Diner because I'm going to be off to the races on another meeting in the morning. But you know what? That's what you do. You build new friends, not just new friends on Facebook. This is not a, what do they call them? Halcyon. What do they call the thing that's like, I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of like a light. That's the human being.
Oh, a hologram.
Hologram. He's not a hologram. This is not a hologram. This is the real deal. Read them and weep.
I just want to say thank you very much. I'm very grateful and humble to have this experience. I see all your beautiful faces out there.
Look at the smiles.
If I could just help one person, reach out to me on Facebook, direct message me, whatever you want. I just like to make people better for what they're doing every day. Just make it easy. Just make it easy. Just take one thing that Tom and Adrian said and just apply it. That's all you need to do.
It works. We'll see you all later. Go home and duplicate. We got to go. See you then.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
God
you so
bless.
much.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
No, no es tiempo.
Bye.